always was a propaganda campaign.
Oh,
It was designed to, this anti-critical race theory was designed to stoke white resentment, and it was designed to drive white suburban people to the polls for Republicans. And in some degrees, it's been successful.
Right. 1619 Project founder Nicole Hannah-Jones still perpetuating the left-wing lie that critical race theory is just all in your mind. It's a propaganda tactic and a conservative campaign strategy. But more proof is coming to light that CRT is alive and well in the American public school system, and it has an agenda, and you know what that agenda is. Fort Worth Independent School District in Texas offering a course that will teach students of the endemic nature of racism and white supremacy that is prevalent in all aspects of our society. And naturally, the only way to fix it is full-blown leftism in every form and government takeover of all industry of the country and spreading of all wealth, obviously. Joining us now with reaction, former HUD Secretary under President Trump, Dr. Ben Carson. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, yeah, the gaslighting here has been pretty incredible on this. Let's just get your reaction right off the top. Go right ahead.
Well, it's pretty amazing to me that the leftists have a tendency to just deny things. And they figure that's all they have to do, just deny it. Doesn't matter how evident that it is true. And, what they really are trying to do is make people dissatisfied with the situation that we have in this country. If you want to fundamentally change a society, you have to first convince people that it's evil, that it's wrong. Right. And this is part of it. And of course, you start with the children. And how abusive is that? At a time when children are supposed to be happy and developing their self-worth, instead they're being told that they're oppressors or that they're victims. I shudder to think what would have happened to me as a youngster if I had been taught that I was a victim and accepted that. I would not have put forth the kinds of efforts that I did in order to achieve the things that I achieved. This is America. This is a land of opportunity. And, it's not about blackness or whiteness, because when you look at Nigerians and Ghanaians, their skin is black. There's no wealth gap with them. Why? Because they emphasize education and family. Right. What we need to do is go back and start emphasizing the basics of success in our society and stop with all this foolishness.
Well said.
Dr. Carson, I want to get your take on this, because speaking of someone on the left, it seems like they have some reason here. Education Secretary under Obama, John King, he's running for the governor of Maryland. We saw how a governor, recent election, Youngkin, just won Virginia because he pressed this. I think maybe we're getting a playbook call out of King here. He says he would not support CRT in schools and thinks that we have to grapple with ways our country has fallen short, but also celebrate the ways we've made progress towards greater equality over time. Do you think this is going to play well with Democrats? Is this going to help them flip and turn a new page here?
I doubt it. What needs to be done, though, is we need to forget about Democrats and Republicans and think about our children and what they are learning. It's one of the reasons that, we've created the Little Patriots program, free learning program, all of our real history, including the warts, but done in a way that leaves people feeling positive. This is the most amazing country that has ever existed in the world. And why should we sit around and let people denigrate it? Does it need to be improved? Of course. But what smart people do is they learn from their mistakes and they move forward from there. And what really stupid or deceitful people do is they try to change their history, or they try to hide their history and distort it. And I think we know better.
I suspect we do too. I want to flip it here for a second, sir. We've seen this huge, really scary spike in major cities in crime. And the kinds of crime has just been so jarring to watch. Watching these huge department stores down to mom and pop businesses being just looted. Groups of people come in and just clear the place out in a matter of minutes. But a criminal justice expert saying recently that we shouldn't use the word looting when talking about that. Take a listen to this reasoning.
Looting is a term that we typically use when people of color or urban dwellers are doing something. We tend not to use that term for other people when they do the exact same thing.
What on earth, what does that have to do with anything, I guess? What should we call it when 50 kids run into a Nordstrom or a Louis Vuitton and take everything in the store in the matter of 90 seconds?
Maybe we should take those kids and poll them and find out what they want to be called. I mean, it is so ridiculous what we're doing now. And, I suspect the rest of the world is just sitting back and having a belly laugh. And they're saying, what has happened to the people in the United States? Yeah. But, it's not most of us. It's a small minority of us who have the backing and the megaphone produced by the media. So, people be encouraged. I travel all over the country all the time, talk to a lot of people. Most people are not this crazy. No. Believe me, they really are not.
They're not.
Yeah, that's a good encouragement on this Thanksgiving Eve, Dr. Carson. Appreciate your time today. Appreciate your sanity, and thanks for being with us tonight.
Thank you. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.